fear can be deep. It can be something that, as normal as it is, fear, it's normal to have fear, to face fear, to be with fear. It's normal. It's a natural part of our existence, right? Fear comes. We will never just completely do away with fear, nor are we meant to, truly. It serves a purpose, fear, in many ways, and it's deep. It's deep because fear can lead us down a path or direction we're really not meant to go down. It's one thing to have fear. Maybe you're faced with the unknown. Maybe something seems precarious or different, unfamiliar. You're hesitant. You have fears about that because you can't control it. You don't know the outcome. You don't know, and that's scary. And when that happens, it's important to, my favorite word these days, one of my favorite words these days is to pause and investigate what's in front of us. What am I afraid of here? And how true is this reality? In this very moment now, is something taking place right now, in this moment, that's causing me to be afraid? And if so, okay, how do I meet it? Is there something for me to do? If so, let me do it. If not, how do I ride the wave of this moment? And if nothing is happening right now, then the fear is out there. It's being projected on some time that has not yet come. And what do I do with that? How do I bring myself back? The thing about fear and the depths of it is, if we give it power, because we may not control whether it shows up, but if we give fear power, not only will it lead us into a spiral that sort of goes downhill, but it'll rob us of right now. Because we will become so consumed by whatever we're fearing that isn't happening now, but we're caught in the emotion, the push-pull, the mental chaos and confusion of it. So we can't be present where we are. So not only are we afraid of the unknown, this thing we fear to come, but we're allowing that to rob us of right now, and we don't get this moment back. Do you ever find yourself in those positions where you're so afraid of something happening that you put all of your time, attention, and focus on the very thing you don't want to happen? And so whatever is happening right now, you're not available for it. Fear is deep, and it can be very damaging and destructive if we give it power. Facing our fears, that's important, because we notice it, we name it, we inquire about it. Where did it come from? Where is it trying to take me? And then, what's true? Because often the thing that we're afraid of is, again, projected into the future unknown, and you actually don't know what's coming. You may not even be alive at that time. Life is uncertain. There are many certainties, and life is uncertain. So what do you do with those fears? How is it robbing you of right now? Right? So you investigate in that pause. What's taking place? Where am I? What's happening? What am I afraid of? And okay, rather than allowing the fear to rob you of the now and the later, ask yourself, if that actually did manifest, since I'm putting all of my time and attention on the very thing I don't want to happen, let's go down the path of that. If it manifests, if your fear actually happened, what would become of you? Oh, I don't want to think about that. I can't imagine. And so that is why we bring ourselves back to the moment where right now all is well. We're not losing ourselves now. And we begin to cultivate the energy of what we desire. We begin to allow ourselves to be present in the moment and not lose now, worried about later. That happens when we give fear power. When we're led by fear, it ruins our lives. It ruins our relationships. We sabotage things. We become reactive, explosive, smaller. It just spirals. Giving fear power over us, it leads us to dead ends. Now, if giving fear the power led us to great places, well, we wouldn't be afraid then, would we? So I think many people, they say, oh, I worry. This is just who I am and but give that thought. Worrying is robbing you of now and later. Fear is robbing you of now and later. And then when you get to later, should you get there, often people look back and they go, oh, this isn't bad. I was worried for nothing. I was afraid this actually isn't the way I thought it would be at all, because you don't know the future. You don't have all of the ingredients. And isn't that a great thing? Because we're limited in our minds. We're limited in our knowledge. There are many causes and conditions that are connected to the future. We don't know all of those causes and conditions. We only know us. And maybe whomever the immediate players are, maybe. But we don't know the paths and all of the intricate connections connected to the future. We don't. If we look over our lives, we can sort of ask the question, did I know all of the things? No, you knew some of the things. But the element of surprise is real. That's why the unknown can be scary. Because we often anticipate this element of surprise to be doom and gloom. Change, oh no, that's terrible. That's how you grow and evolve and expand. That's how you learn. What is it about the unknown that causes us to be so afraid that we give the fear the power? As opposed to, again, noting, okay, yeah, I have some fears about that. I don't really know what's ahead of me. If I let my mind think thoughts, they are going to think thoughts downhill like a tumbleweed that's just picked up by the wind. So when your mind goes, you bring it back. It's like a meditation in action, right? Your mind goes, you say, yep, I'm having thoughts about the future again and the unknown. Yep. But what I know is I'm right here now, and I'm going to keep practicing leaving later for later. Because again, I don't know. So when the fears come up, may I have all of the information and knowledge and wherewithal to meet later when later arrives. Oh, I'm afraid. When later comes, may I have all that I need to meet the moment, because being afraid of it now isn't not going to help me for later. It's not going to help me later. It's just going to ruin my now. So today on the mat, it's a reminder that yes, fear is real, and we do not have to give it power over our lives. That's like getting in your car, starting the engine, putting a brick there, and then hopping in the passenger seat and just, hey, wherever we go, you don't want to do that. You don't want to give fear the keys to your life. You want to make sure you're driving the fear and not the other way around, right? And this is a message that's for all of us because, again, it's real life. We could have all of these fears that consume us. Is this going to end? Am I going to die because of this? Is my heart going to be broken? Will I ever recover from this injury? I'm so afraid. What if my life never looks like how it looks now? Those are real questions. And we don't have the answers. But we know through time what becomes. But right now, stirring that mental anguish will destroy today. You're worried about the tomorrows, not realizing you're damaging now. You're afraid of what could happen 2 years from now, but you're losing the right now. It's almost like, hey, I don't care about right now because I need to figure out what's going to be happening in 2 years. I'm afraid that I'm not going to have X, Y, and Z. Yeah, but you have it now and you're not being with it because you're afraid of not having it later. Let's pause and see. 1 + 1 isn't adding up to 2 here. You're worried about losing it later, but you're not cultivating it now. Right? We have to be where we are. And again, it doesn't mean that the thoughts won't think. The mind is masterful. Yes, all of that is true. Thoughts will think. The mind is masterful. And we have to say, hey, I'm hearing the thoughts are thinking, and I'm not going to follow you down that rabbit hole. I did that last week, and it just got me nowhere. And then maybe the next time it's like, dang, I went down that rabbit hole again. Okay, no problem. Bring yourself back. Extend yourself grace. Be gentle. Keep practicing. It's not about perfection. It's about practice, right? Until eventually your thoughts stop thinking that because you're not feeding it. What we feed grows. What we feed intensifies. What we cultivate continues to be created. If I don't water my plants, they will die. But if I cultivate them, if I pay them attention, if I give them energy, they thrive. If I stop focusing on fears, if I stop feeding those thoughts, they become less and less. But if I allow myself to latch on and go all around the way with them, they will stay alive and well. And then we will say, oh, I just can't help but think about it. It's like commiseration or gossip, right? It's that sweet thing. You want to keep talking about it. You want to get in there. It's not helping anything. But it's like, ooh, it's a sweet destruction. I want to, what else happened? Give me the tea. Yeah, you cultivate that. And then eventually when the ooh wears off, you're like, dang, nothing's better. Or you feel bad. Because after you get the gossip, and you reflect, you're like, man, I don't want anything to happen to that person. That's really unfortunate. And so when we think about our fears, we don't want those to manifest. So why are we chasing it down? Why am I running after the thing I don't even want? Let me allow my thoughts to get so far in the distance that I don't see them anymore. I remember when they were right here. I remember when fear was right here, but I started just turning away from it until eventually I couldn't see it. I forgot about it. And now I'm in the future and it didn't manifest. Look at that. Imagine had I paid attention to it all the way along the path of my future. That's a terrible life. Misery. So today, I want to say fear is real, and you really do not have to cultivate it. The unknown will always be there. Change will always be there. And you do not have to cultivate thoughts that think you in the direction of that being terrible. You're in the driver's seat of your own life. Fear is not driving you. So don't give it the keys, because it's going to make you crash and burn. It's a setup to fail. And we're being great. We're being at peace. We're being awake and attuned, aligned with ourselves and our lives. We're not being dragged by the weight of fear. We're not going to spiral down the anxious path because the unknown is unknowable until we get there. We're going to anticipate being able to meet the moments. In life, we're not going to like all things. We're not going to like all people. But we can meet the moments. So I want to encourage us all to meet the moments and to not give fear complete access to our now and our later. But to be in the driver's seat of that, to note the fear and to not allow it to drag us down where it wants to go. But we bring ourselves back so that we can stay present in the moment, be attuned and awake to our now, so that we're available to hear, see, know, feel, sense what will be needed when the future becomes now. Be with the unknown, feel your feelings, and then put them in their rightful place, which is the place where they're not dragging you, but you're noting and being mindful of them. It's a practice. May we practice it.